What's up? Good morning, Market Snipers. This is Jesse. It's about 9 a.m. Well, it is 9 a.m. my time here in Orange County, California. Always interested if where you're tuning in from, what part of the world you're at. So always feel free to comment and let me know where you're at. So, anyways, you're wondering why I'm wearing this football jersey. Well, today we have my only team, my only football team is playing today. And, even though we don't have a lot of high hopes to beat the Eagles tonight, we still hope for it. So anyways, that's about it. Wanted to kind of, just stay focused and jump right into the charts and, spend the hour. Oh, Aldo, good morning from Canada. Colson, curious if you could take, you got here early. Okay. Colson, always one step ahead. Curious if you could take a look at RNDR. Got into a scalp long at $1.31 on 831. Scalp long. Well, scalp is like minutes, if not like less than, like 10 to 25 minutes, I would say, or 30 minutes. Let's LFG. Let's effing go. So, I wouldn't say it's quite a scalp, Colson, if you got back into it on 831, but definitely a swing trade. Haven't closed the position yet, as my initial target was $1.60, which we got close to, but didn't clip. Okay, so we'll take a look at it. Yeah, careful with the mute button. Yeah, no kidding, right? Well, we learned our lesson. If the mic, goes off, and I know where I knew where the mute button was, but I forgot because, it's a newer mic. But now it definitely not going to forget to, put the mute, turn the mute button back off. So, so we'll look at RNDR. Daily is bullish. Weekly is trying to make a turnaround, but isn't there yet. It's also at some horizontal resistance currently around coming up dollars. Okay. Canada RNDR. Careful. It was to be a day, but things started turning into a swing. Okay, yeah. If it starts into like like a shorter term day trade, and price continues to pump up or down, depends if you're in a long or short position, then yes, we always try to push it as long as possible. So that it seems a good strategy if that was your plan from day one. But you also have to have that exit strategy mapped out before getting into a trade as well. And if you're looking to push a trade longer, then you're adjusting your overall plan. So you definitely want to also adjust your take profit in real time. Andre Britz, oh yeah, what's up? What's up, Andre? I saw your post on the X app earlier today too. So awesome. So let's jump into a Bitcoin, and we'll look at a few charts, and then we'll try to spend some more time looking at everyone's requests today. So maybe we'll try to get through this, faster in like under 30 minutes, and then we'll go through, everyone's requests and stuff like that. So, all right. So Bitcoin, we always like to start with the longer term time frames. Do SFP look like a short, Jesse? Thanks. Also, Andre, just for purposes of searching, if you could do me a favor and just put in like crypto, stock, symbol, and then the asset name. That way, if I don't have it on the Sniper Top 40, I don't want to fumble around with it for a few minutes. So so let me know what the full commented asset that you want me to take a look at. Obviously, if it's like Apple or NVIDIA or Bitcoin or Ethereum, those are all going to be on my Sniper Top 40. But if it's something outside the Sniper Top 40, then it'll just help with the search crypto. Okay, so back to Bitcoin. The overall weekly trend is still bearish, right? Overall weekly trend is still bearish. And the red trending dots are continuing to trend downward, right? But that doesn't mean that there's not bounces along the way. it doesn't mean that lower highs won't be put in along the way before hitting lower targets. One of the things I talk about a lot is one of the things I talk about a lot is you know having patience, right? And part of that is that if we're up here when price is above 29,000 and we were talking about hitting target 1, target 2, which it did, possibly target 3, possibly target 4, and who knows after that, see if Bitcoin finds support after that. But part of that is there's bounces along the way, so patience for hitting longer term targets if you're looking at a longer term chart like the weekly chart. And way back here talking about after it hitting, we expect price to bounce, put in lower highs, and then come back down, right? So that's still the expectation. So dropping down to the daily chart, so far it's basically has been working out to the way we thought it would. It will never work out exactly, and we'll continue to adjust in real time. What's patience? You definitely something needed if you're starting a business, if you're starting trading and investing. You're definitely going to have to learn that word, patience. You will definitely have to learn that one. So I know you're probably joking, but you definitely will need to learn that word. Otherwise, if you're looking to catch lightning in a bottle and you're looking to get rich quick, then you're going to be you can put yourself in a bad situation, most likely. So, there's always that one who hit it big and tells everyone about it. And then, but you never hear about all their losses after that. Colson, laugh out loud. All right. So after the breakdown, right, had that quick pump up, there's probably a lot of late short positions and or profit taking. I was one of the ones taking profit. I know there are snipers in the Discord. Some of them were taking profits, and then that short, quick pump up, and probably liquidated a lot of late high leverage short positions, and then does a full reversal right back down and liquidates the longs. Right, so that's those liquidation games getting played out, and then now we're seeing like over time that bullish divergence develop on the daily chart, and we were talking about it, and then we were talking about it back on Monday. Additional bullish divergence, right, followed by a reversal candle, and we were talking about there's a pending buy signal on the 8-hour chart, and we were watching it very closely. And the daily chart, you saw that it wicked up and it was looking like it was going to be the breakout, but it didn't. It closed back below. So we were watching it. And then the next move out, right? That's when I was looking to take a buy position. And that's actually when I bought. So it was right above here, after the first time. Okay. Then you see the candle close. And then now it's like, it's back above, and it was right around that 26,000 that I ended up getting into a long position myself. 4K mods, hello, Echo, awesome. Carlos, I remember you from letting me know who you were. Long time follower on Twitter for at least 2 years. You were telling me, and I recognize the name, and now I'll keep saying Carlos 4K mods, and most likely I'll remember. But so. And then talked about, obviously, none of this is financial advice, and you always have to do your own research. And, I don't tell you I'm buying or selling for you to buy or sell and copy trade me, because things happen so quickly, and I may be getting in or out of a trade much faster than I can update everyone. And I don't want to be the cause of someone losing money. So I don't even manage my own family's money, right? I only manage my own money, and that's it. I don't want to manage anyone else's money. I don't want that responsibility. And but I do let you know what my thought process is, what I'm seeing on the charts, and then as more of educational purposes. And so to let you know that, like, we were talking about, okay, I got into a long position. Then I even talked about, looking to when can I move my stop loss up to break even, right? So that it becomes a risk-free trade. And so I did that this morning. So I hadn't moved my stop loss up to break even until this morning. It seems like price has gotten far enough away on the daily chart that I won't get wicked out and have to worry about re-entering the trade, because I don't want to have to keep re-entering the trade. So I feel now that, and it could, right? The trending green dot just happened, and the trending dot is just starting to turn back around. So it's not that it couldn't come back out and wick down, but it seems like that it's far enough away at this moment, and that if it does come back and take me out, at the end of the day, the only thing I lose out on is potentially profit. So, and I put in my automatic take profit at a very key level of a retracement to the upside. And so we'll see in real time if price is still bullish and still pumping. I may adjust it higher to the next target and keep an eye on it in real time. But when I'm not looking at the chart nonstop, then I like to put in my automatic take profit at a current key level and make sure the stop loss is dialed in as well. So when I'm not looking at it and things happen, I don't want to be caught off guard, right? So I will take profit at a key level, especially if I'm not watching the chart. So my game plan is to cash me out, right? Take profit at a certain level that we're always looking at, up in this area. And then that's about where target 3 is, right? Doesn't mean price is going to get all the way up there, right? It could hit target 2 and roll back over. But as of right now, when I am watching it, but I just want to have it at a key target, and then I'll keep an eye on it from there. And then I have, I'm at the stop losses at break even, so I'm not as concerned about it. I'm only missing out on potential profit, and it's always potential profit until you lock in those unrealized gains. Explanation on it, but let's start to dive in the charts now. So we'll go full screen. So this is the daily chart, right? Had that bullish divergence. So you're seeing like the closes on the RSI daily chart going lower, right? Going lower. And you've got RSI. Let me move this up. You got RSI bottom here, bottomed all the way down at like 19 or 20. And then you have another RSI bottom, but it's a higher low, whereas price was putting in a lower low. So we're talking about this bullish divergence developing, and then they had this move down. We were talking about it back here even. So we were talking about the bullish divergence back here. Then it broke down, and price made a lower low, but RSI made a higher low. So we're looking at bullish divergence there as well, because we're aware that there could be future bullish divergence. So that's why we're waiting for a higher probability reversal, because if we're guessing that the bullish divergence is over, then we're guessing and we're going to be wrong more often, right? So we want to be right more often than not. And I want to be right. I never wanted to be right 34% of the time, which if you're doing 2-to-1 ratios is your break even. I don't want to be right 34% of the time. I strive to be in that 80% or higher, at least 70%, but I definitely want to be right at around that 80%. That's my goal, if not higher. I accept I'll never be 100% right. But on these higher time frames, sometimes I feel like it's very close to that. But we also trade on the lower time frames to stay humble, right? So we'll definitely stay humble with some day trading, some lower time frames, high leverage stuff. That always keeps me humble. Options always keep me humble, right? So we'll keep that overall winning percentage lower when we're on the lower time frames, playing options, playing higher leverage, stuff like that. So this trade happens to be on 10% or not 10%, 10x leverage. So even a move up into this area is like a 75% gain, right? I'm not sure what it is here, but I put in that automatic take profit up into this third target area, and it did say 75% return. So as of right now, the stop loss is in at break even, and then we'll see if price comes all the way up into here. It's possible we only hit this target, and then it rolls over. But then it could hit this target or hit this target. The overall idea is that, before even the breakdown, we were talking about, and you can go back to previous videos when I talk about like deeper dives and stuff like that. We've already spent like 16 minutes on this again, but I'm in the trade. So I typically talk about things I'm trading, and so it could come back into here and then roll back down and hit those lower targets based off of the higher time frames of the weekly chart being bearish. So as of right now, it's just a bounce until proven otherwise, and it would take time for the ship to get turned around. Could the weekly chart just flip around back bullish? It could, but I'm not seeing that yet, and it's bearish until it's not on the weekly chart. Okay, no, the comments. We'll just keep going. Let's look at the NASDAQ daily chart. It's still bullish overall, right? Let's see. Let's kind of clean up the chart. Just kind of, we got too much going on there. Just for purposes of keeping it clean and looking at the overall, don't even need this target box on yet, just because the daily chart is still currently bullish and a lower high has not been officially put in yet. So even when, price broke down here, price came down here, we're still talking about a lower high hasn't been confirmed yet, right? It's still above the trending dots. It's still bullish. And it's still currently trending upwards. So if there's any closes below this $15,885, call it roughly, any daily close below there, it still could be that lower high that's put in, right? So price could come all the way back up in here, roll over, and still be a lower high. So I'm not expecting it to put in a higher high, but it could. This could ultimately be a lower RSI peak. Price could still come all the way back in here and put in a higher high, and that would be continued bearish divergence. I just think it's less likely. So I think it's a lower probability. So I don't think that's what happens. I think a lower high gets put in, but it doesn't matter. We'll find out what happens or not, and just call it as we see it. Weekly chart still bullish, but there was that bearish divergence. There is an RSI sell signal, and overall, any weekly close back below the, again, very similar area, 15,843 ish, right? Call it, or 850 if you want to say. Any weekly close below that, and you can see the trending dots are starting to kind of roll over. So we'll see what happens on that. That's the NASDAQ. What about NVIDIA? Yeah, NVIDIA is on the list, so we'll just take a quick glance at it. DXY, not much to report on. Still bullish, still right around that rejection level of the second target. So see if it finds support, gain some more momentum before possibly hitting that third target on the DXY. VIX, not much is happening, still at the bottoms. I can just tell, we look at it every day. NVIDIA, not much has changed, right? So still have that bearish divergence, still have that RSI sell signal, still have that bearish divergence, and then it's still currently bullish. So it may take some time for it to roll over. So if you look at the weekly trending dots, if it's kind of like you can kind of see the trajectory of them on the higher time frames, it might take some time for it to roll over and then come back down. So looking at the weekly chart, it's still currently bullish. So, but there is bearish divergence and showing signs of a breakdown. You still have this very long-term upward trend line as well, and price is still quite a bit above that. So it just tells me that it could take some time for it to play out. If you look on the daily chart is obviously ahead of the weekly chart, and so you had that bearish divergence followed by a breakdown, right? So if it puts in a lower high and then price puts in this lower high that we talked about the other day or yesterday on the live stream, then you can see where price could come back up into this area, maybe all the way back up into here. Could come all the way, anything that's a lower high would be, up here at about 493. So any daily close below 493-ish, 494. No, let me get that more dialed in. Yeah, call it 493. Any daily close below 493 could be putting in a lower high and then see price come back down and hit that third target. So we'll probably remap out the targets because those targets are back from here. So we probably want to remap out the targets from the highs and remap out these targets as well. So with the longer term idea that we know that eventually that 20% gap, it should get filled, right? I'd be very surprised if we go through life and the 20% gap never gets filled. So we don't know when, but we'll see. I'm just going to take a quick look on what's up, Kelly, on Twitter comments. Just looking at the Twitter live stream to see if there's any comments. It's easier for me to see if anyone's putting the comments out on YouTube. If you're a subscriber on YouTube, it's easier for me to see if you want me to chart anything. But I will take a look every once in a while on the Twitter comments as well. If you want me to chart anything, I'm happy to do so. It's just a little bit more difficult because I got to look at my phone because I don't want to bog down the computer, right? So bog down the live stream and make it slower. So that's NVIDIA. It's still bearish, right? But it could be getting that bounce back up, and then you see the trending dots going down as well. SoFi, okay. What's up, Rodrigo? Good morning. SoFi, yeah, it's on my sniper top 40, so we could take a look at that. Apple is still bearish on the daily chart. Doesn't mean it won't get a bounce first. We even talked about that. It could bounce back up, even close this gap or partially close it, and then roll back over, similar to putting in a lower high here and partially filling this gap up here. So we talked about all that. Let's look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart had that bearish divergence, and the weekly chart had that RSI sell signal. The RSI EMA on the weekly chart is still continuing down, even though there was a lower high put in, not only on price, but a lower high put in on RSI. And it's still bearish. We got another pending sell signal on the weekly chart. And, tomorrow's close will tell us if it's an actual sell signal or not on the weekly chart. But it's already been trending downward. And now you've got the trending dots also trending down. They're red as well. Just seems like the probabilities, whether it happens today, tomorrow, or next week, obviously not on Saturday. The stock market's closed. And, but, the probabilities continue to stack that that second target lower is going to be hit. And you had this very clean upward trend that was broken, right? It was broken down. You had that bearish divergence, hit target 1, almost hit target 2. I'd be very surprised at this point, after breaking down and everything kind of trending down on the higher time frames, that it doesn't, at least retest that wick but then come back down to a key target area, and then we'll see the third one. And it may take some time, right? It may not happen overnight. It could be something like, on the daily chart, comes back up, then comes back down, does one of these, maybe even battles all the way back down before coming down. So just takes time, especially, as they say, it's hard to kill a bull. Well, a lot of people are bullish on Apple. It's held in many like ETFs and stuff. And so it may be difficult to kill this bull, right? So, but doesn't mean that the probabilities don't continue to stack up, that we're going to see lower prices on Apple. And that's what I'm seeing on it still. Quickly on silver, get into that 30-minute mark. I wanted to, thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome, Rodrigo. So, want to keep some more time for the chart requests, and we'll go through it in real time for you. Not SoFi, silver had the sell signal, everything's trading down, still consolidating in this range. So we'll find out, it is getting more and more bearish on the RSI. And even the RSI EMA is continuing to get more bearish. So we'll see if it starts making lower lows, could see lower price targets on silver. But we're going to stay neutral at this point, even though it is bearish on the weekly chart, just that it's kind of going through this consolidation. So we're just going to see if it's going to do something like this, it comes back up to the upside, or to the downside, right? So we'll find out. Gold, put in that lower high, putting in that lower high, not confirmed yet, right? This lower high is confirmed because it did close and take out this low here. So it's making lower highs and slightly lower lows. And now we have another pending sell signal. And this overall downward trend of the RSI, it's becoming more bearish. The EMA is still in bullish territory, but it could be trending downward similar to silver, and just could be lagging time-wise. So if silver already had a sell signal, it's possible that gold tomorrow, when the candle closes, that the pending sell turns into a sell signal as well, and we could possibly see price come back down in the target box again, and then possibly back down to that second target box on gold. Quick peek at the 10-year Treasury, right? Still bullish on the weekly chart. There is that bearish divergence, but it's still currently bearish on, it's still bullish on the daily chart with that bearish divergence. So, but we all know, if you've been following me or been in the Discord for a while, you'll know that, I talk about a lot, that divergence can continue much longer than what people think. Price can remain overbought or oversold for much longer than what most traders and investors think. So it's always an awareness of not guessing and waiting for those higher probability reversals. So, okay, let's go back through. So Colson, he was first, 8:48 a.m. Early bird gets the worm. I don't think I'm pretty sure RNDR is not on my snapper. Top 40. So let's look at Binance. If there's a specific exchange that you're looking at, put that into the comments as well. So if you want me to really look at the exact chart that you're looking at, not only type in the symbol, but type in the asset class, like crypto, stock, futures, Forex. Obviously, if you put in, the exact symbol like DX1, exclamation point, I can tell you that that's the dollar futures, right? So I have that on the chart. Or NVIDIA, something that's in the Sniper Top 40. You don't have to be as specific, but If you want me to chart something, exactly what you're looking at on your chart, let me know what exchange you're on too, like Binance or whatever. But for this purpose, I'll look at Binance, and we'll start with a clean chart if it's not already. Okay. So here's the weekly, right? So you took a long position at $1.31. Colson, if you're still on, which I'm sure you are, I use Qcoin. Okay, just got it. But Binance is something I look at. We'll just stay on Binance for time purposes. That's right. You said you bought on August 31st. So okay, at $1.31. Okay, so the overall trend is bearish on the weekly chart. So it's something to keep an eye on. That I usually try to trade with the trend, but we do know that the weekly chart is slower moving. So if you're swing trading in the daily chart, you might not be waiting for the weekly chart, but just overall, it is currently bearish as an awareness. So let's drop down the daily chart. So the daily chart, August 31st. Okay, so you must have been on a really low time frame, like you said. Started off as like a day trade or a scalp, and then it's kind of turned into this move. So overall, the daily chart is bullish, and there was that bullish divergence, right? Let's see right here. So bullish divergence was picked up, and then and now it's continue up. So this could be a higher. This could be a higher low. I always have to look up and remember. This could be a higher low, and you could see um, higher targets up. So the overall trend, if you're kind of watching this as like, trying to do this in real time, that would be your trend. So you can see the trending dots is starting to turn up as well, and they could start to catch up, or price even come back down, and then the trend line gets kind of readjusted to where the trending dots are. So that's kind of what you'd be watching and try to push the trade as long as possible. On the daily chart, it is currently still bullish. So you're watching that. But you don't know how high it did wick all the way up to that 1.588 roughly on Binance. And again, Qcoin might be slightly different. So you just have to keep an eye on it. And, just the eyeball test, you could see like possibly a bounce up into this area, like $1.80. Let's see. Let me go back through your comments. Is that what you talked about? Your thoughts of it coming up to, yeah. So $1 and call it 71 cents or 72 cents. I could definitely see that with the eyeball test, right? Um, if it's a lesser pump, it's probably pretty close to that right now. So you might want to just keep an eye on it on a lower time frame, lock in those profits, because even at $1.31, I'm assuming you're probably using leverage since you went on a lower time frame. You don't have to you don't have to tell us on the live stream that you use leverage or not. But I'm assuming that at 18% increase, you're probably using leverage. And if I had to guess, you're probably using at least 10x leverage. So that's a very good gain already. So just make sure not to. Yes, I was lottery story all over again. Oh, okay. So knowing you and knowing that you've paid attention and you've been in the sniper community for a long time, you used a smaller account or a smaller amount and you didn't go all in, I don't think. And so you used higher leverage with a smaller dollar amount. So talked about that in risk versus reward. If you're going to go extremely high risk asset like a crypto, like a crypto coin, like RNDR, and if you're going extremely high risk with higher leverage, you you better be using lunch money, something that an amount of money that you could lose every single dollar, and you wouldn't even blink. You wouldn't even worry about it. Like if you went to lunch and you dropped, $50, $100, whatever lunch money is to you, a couple $100 is lunch money, then and you're not worried about losing $1, then yeah, doing a lottery with a lower dollar amount, you know, I do that, right? So it's not that big of a deal. When I talk about risk versus reward, and you're looking for a bigger move, and you're using all, if not most of your trading account, you don't want to risk all of your trading account. So you want to use maybe no leverage, less leverage, higher time frames, stuff like that. So I would try to push this as long as possible. Daily chart is still bullish. If we look at, let's drop down to a lower time frame just for fun. 8-hour chart is interesting, especially if you're using high leverage. You do have bearish divergence, right? You do have bearish divergence. And it looks like, if you get another, if it continues to close lower and price continues to close higher, you're going to have continued bearish divergence. So at one point, you can see that price will probably come back down to the weekly trending dots at some point. And so you just have to decide if you're going to lock in those profits with that high leverage, and maybe drop down to the lower time frame, because things can turn around quickly, right? And you want to try to lock in as much as possible, especially if it came up into a key area. So just an eyeball test from here to here, or let's see, from this wick to this wick, this is like middle ground. So you're right at that middle ground, somewhere around there as an eyeball test. And so it's probably already hit at least 2 to 3 of your key targets already. So there might be another one, say up here or close to that. That 1.71 is getting, pretty high up there, if this is only a retracement from this move to here. So just keep that in mind, that it's right around that area. So it would have to turn this resistance and flip that into support to bounce up and go higher. But, keep in mind that the weekly chart is still bearish. The daily chart is still bullish, but you do have bearish divergence on a lower time frame. So you have to put it, it's a lot to kind of like take in, and you've already adjusted your plan in real time from just a quick day trade to like now you're over 180% gain because you're using more than 10x leverage. So simple math is that you're over 180% gain, but it's not a gain until you lock it in. So just keep that in mind. But good job on pushing the trade. And I'm sure your stop loss has moved to break even, right? By now. Okay, so let's move on. Let's keep going. Let's get back to the weekly chart. Let's go to the weekly, and we'll just go to the very next one. So what's patient? Half. Oh, just kidding. Aldo. Okay, so that was the first one, RNDR. Careful with the mute button again. Let's see. SFP crypto. Okay. Andre. I recognize Andre again. He's on the live stream. Seems like he's on the live stream. He commented on Twitter. So if I'm seeing your guys' names, guys and gals' names over and over again, I'm gonna remember you, and I'm gonna definitely want to be giving you priority over charting your requests. So because we only have so much time on the streams. So if I recognize you're in the Discord, if I recognize you're a subscriber, you're in the live stream on a regular basis, you're on Twitter, you're helping me, you're helping the algorithms. I'm definitely want to chart your stuff. I want to help you. Okay, so let me search crypto SFP. I'm just going to choose Binance unless you specify what exchange you're in. That's perpetual contract. Maybe SFP Tether will have more history. So I'm going to choose that one. SFP. I don't know if I've charted this one before. So weekly chart, actually flipped bullish, right? And it's still currently bullish. Could be coming back down. It was such a strong move, right? Over the last, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Was that it? Was that the end of the bounce? You just have to be careful with like some of these, whether it's a smaller cap tech stock or a smaller crypto coin market cap. I haven't looked at it, but if you look at it real quick, um, doesn't even say. But if it's smaller, it might have this big spike up and then just reverse back down, right? So it's almost like trying to catch lightning in a bottle because it's not a multi-week run. This has been a multi-week run. So you had a buy signal 1, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row, spiked all the way up. And, it did put in a higher high. So now if you're looking, does it put in a lower high? So let's see. Let's kind of take a step back here. Um, this looks like a higher low with a reversal candle, right? This could be a higher low. This could be a higher high. So it currently still is bullish. The trending dots are still so I don't know if you're looking at this on a shorter time period, Andre, or if you're looking at from more of an investing standpoint with like longer term holding or no leverage or anything like that. So the more details you give, the more I can kind of talk about it. But otherwise, I'm just kind of guessing and stuff. But overall, it currently still is bullish on the weekly chart, and it's been bullish for like the last 5 weeks, and it did put in that higher low as of now. But it could be, I'm assuming that we're going to drop down to the daily chart, and it's looking like it could be reversing back over since this is a slower moving weekly chart, and price could come back down at the very least, retest the upward trending dots. So we'll kind of take a look at that short short leverage with 4-hour chart. I'm assuming. Okay. So keeping that in mind, the overall weekly chart is still currently bullish. But as we're dropping down on the daily chart, so it matters what time frame you're looking at. So, I always see like comments on Twitter about a chart. I post a weekly chart and they're like, "Oh, you're bullish or you're bearish." And then I post the same asset on the daily chart, and it might be bearish or bullish versus the weekly chart. It could be the opposite. Or if I post a lower time frame, it could be the opposite of the higher time frame. So, even though the weekly chart is still bullish, as soon as we drop down to the daily chart, we see bearish divergence getting picked up on the indicator. We had a reversal candle after the bearish divergence, which I'm starting to like more and more. And that's why I end up adding it to the sharpshooter candles 3.1. I don't like to add things on unless I've looked at it and looked at it and looked at it obsessive amount of time. So, and what I kind of discovered before adding it to the sharpshooter candles 3.1 is that when there's a reversal candle after divergence, whether bullish or bearish, I really like it. So, and I'm liking it more and more. And then it looks like on the daily chart, this could be a lower high, and it's easier to kind of see on RSI. And then this could be another potential lower high here because this was a lower low, right? So lower high for sure, lower low, and then a lower high. And then we'll see if the daily chart puts in another lower low. Right now, the trend is currently holding at support on the trending dots. And overall, the daily chart is still currently bullish, but after the divergence, it looks like it's starting to break down. We do have a pending MACD bear cross right now. And so we do know that on a pending MACD bear cross, doesn't mean price couldn't come back up and even put in future bearish divergence before rolling back over. So, but let's drop down to the lower time frame since you're on a short with leverage on a 4-hour chart. So I don't know when you took a 4-hour to 8-hour. Okay. So let's just do a quick look at it on the 8-hour and then we'll go to the 4-hour just to see what we're looking at overall. So you can kind of see where on the daily chart, this is bearish divergence, and it doesn't look like bearish divergence on the 8-hour, but it was on the daily chart. And then this looks more like that lower high followed by a sell signal. And then this looks like that another potential lower high. The trending dots are trending down, stuff like that. So I'm not sure where you took your entry at. So I can't comment if I think it's good or not, like if it's a good position. But I'll just look at it from like my standpoint of what I'm kind of seeing on the chart. And so if you look back on the daily, so this is where it was the bearish divergence on the daily. And you can also see on the 4-hour chart, it's continuing to put in lower highs while price is putting in higher highs until it wasn't, right? So the very last signal that we have on the 4-hour chart, if you were on the 4-hour chart still, this was a breakdown and a sell signal. And now we have a pending MACD bearish crossover as well. And everything's still kind of like, it's still holding up overall and hasn't fully broken down yet. And part of that might be because the weekly chart is still bullish, right? So you may not get those bigger moves until you start to see like more bearish signs on the weekly chart. So that's kind of where I'm watching it. But again, this could be the high of that pump, and it could be that further retracement down to where those trending dots are, and maybe that brings it down to like this level down here possibly. So just make sure to map out your targets, have your stop loss put in so you know where you're wrong and you get cashed out, whether it's taking a smaller loss or not, or you're potentially automatically take profits and or try to push the trade as long as possible. All right, let's go back up. SafePal. Okay, SafePal Crypto. Thanks. I didn't see it till now, but let's see. Patience. I'm just going back to the comments. I don't know if there's any on Twitter real quick. I don't see any on Twitter. So we keep going on YouTube here. SafePal. SoFi. Oh, NVIDIA. Did we skip NVIDIA? I thought we did NVIDIA. Pretty sure we did it. Yeah, we did NVIDIA. But, still thinking about that. So, NVIDIA, Aldo, just get married, you'll learn. with with patience. Okay. SoFi. All right, let's look for SoFi. I know it's in the Sniper Top 40. There it is. It's not on the stock and crypto screener top 40, but I know I have it on this watch list. So let's kind of start fresh and remove everything and then kind of look at it from, start at the weekly chart and then work our way down. SoFi. Okay, so since that last buy signal back in May, it's still currently bullish, and maybe that's all it was profit taking at $11.73, and retracing back down, potentially finding support here at the at the weekly trending dots. But what we do have to look at is, after that peak there, then there's an RSI sell signal, and maybe that was it. So, based off of the weekly chart, it's too early to call it, but it's possible that it comes up, puts in that lower high, and then comes back down for a further retracement. But as of right now, it's looking like it possibly could find support. And then who knows if it kind of flips back around here on RSI, and then it would just, if it's really bullish, it would flip back around and put in a RSI buy signal. So let's look at the daily chart and see where it's at. So the daily chart, tells us more, right? As a swing trader. So the daily chart, have, bearish divergence, and this would even be bearish divergence. So it's picking up on the indicator. If I change the inputs, it would pick it up for here as well. So you had bearish divergence, and then you had continued bearish divergence, and then that sell signal, right? And came back down for a retracement to a key area, and basically kind of cleared out that bearish divergence. So then it kind of, consolidated, had a buy, but not really, and then broke back down, and then had that buy signal. So it's not really doing much as far as, like, it's not pumping. So you just got to be cautious on this daily buy, because it could just be where, price comes back up, puts in a lower high, and then rolls back over. It's a very small gap down here, so I wouldn't pay as much of attention to it as, like, it's like under 3%, right? So there's still a gap, but it's not like a 20% massive gap. So it's not as much on the radar. It's still currently bullish on the weekly chart. It's still currently bullish on the daily chart. So you just have to, if you're already in a long position, are you continuing to hold it and try to push it as long as possible? That's something you'll have to decide on it. I'm not currently in a position. I was in a SoFi position, and I had taken profits and moved on. But it doesn't mean that price won't go higher, right? So you just have to kind of decide. But as of right now, it's right on the border. But right on the border, it is currently bullish on those two time frames. And so, if we did take a quick peek at the 8-hour, it's a 9:53. Dang, time's flying. Time is flying. If everyone could do me a favor and hit the likes, let's see, on the ticker symbol, we've got thank you for your continued support. I appreciate everyone. Please like, it helps the algorithms, whether you're watching the stream on Twitter, or if you're watching the stream, or formerly known as Twitter, X, or if you're watching the stream on YouTube, if you could please keep the comments going. If you could hit the like button, make sure to subscribe. All that stuff helps the algorithm, helps get more eyeballs on it. And, I think the bigger the community is, the more talent will attract. And when we get into that next potential, Bitcoin bull run, crypto bull run, assuming we get another bull run, we'll have more talented people, and we'll do our best to nail that top again, even better this time, and then nail the bear market again as well. So, appreciate everyone's support, and we'll keep going. We do have some more time. Just want to take a quick moment and do that. So SoFi was the last one. There you go, Rodrigo. SafePal, keep going. BCH on Binance. Okay. BCH on Binance. I don't think I have that in the Sniper Top 40. Crypto, BCH. Let's see. Binance. So there's Binance perpetuals, or I'll just do the non-perpetual, because I'm sure there's more chart history for the spot. So Bitcoin Cash. So there are some differences, but similar to Bitcoin, where there actually is no bullish divergence on this one. So, well, let's see. Yeah, there's some slight bullish divergence. So there are some similarities to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin Cash does have a pending buy signal, um, and there was that slight bullish divergence. Probably more of a double bottom, right? And pending buy signal. So it is currently bullish on there. Let's look at the weekly chart. Wow, what a move that was. I got to take the measuring. So had that reversal candle on the weekly chart. Wow, Bitcoin Cash 200% move in 2 weeks. Wow, I missed that one. I definitely didn't get that one. Wow. So the thing about this one is that similar to Bitcoin, where after that big move up and that big retracement up into this area, there was a RSI sell signal. So got to kind of see if it's currently still bullish, but here are the bearish signs. There was a RSI sell signal. That's one bearish sign. I'm assuming there is a bearish MACD crossover. So we'll take a look at it. Let's see, MACD bear crossover. Right, there was. It's below the trending dots, and now one of the weekly trending dots is red. Doesn't mean it can't pump back up and put in a lower high first and come back down, similar to Bitcoin. But the weekly chart, even though it's currently bullish, could be finding support at a key area, just with the visual eyeball test. But there are bearish signs on the weekly chart, including the MACD bearish crossover a couple of weeks ago, the RSI sell signal, 3 or 4 weeks ago, breakdown, all that stuff. So the weekly chart, is just slower moving. Takes time to get flipped around. But man, bullish divergence followed by a reversal candle on the weekly chart, followed by a 200% pump. Man, that was a nice move if you caught that. Daily chart, I wasn't in that trade personally. Daily chart is pending buy signal. So will it, price come back up, put in a lower high, and then roll over from there? That's something we'll find out, and we'll see right now. But as of right now, currently bullish on the weekly chart, and I do that with a caution because of the bearish signs on the weekly chart, and there was a retracement, but it's currently bullish, and it's currently pending a buy signal on the daily chart. Whew. Bitcoin Cash. Oh, we're getting right up into that 1 hour. What else do we have? Piton. Colson, roger that. More than BE. Andre, short, appreciate you. You got it, my man. I am thinking of lower high on the big move. Okay. Yep. I think so too. I think it'll be a lower high, similar to Bitcoin, but we want to stay neutral, and we don't want to be so set in our ways, because if things change, we don't want to be caught off guard. So we want to know what the potential is both ways and stay as neutral as possible, so we can swing trade it up or down, right? Or if you're an investor, you're possibly on the weekly chart, maybe you got in on a buy, and you're looking to take profits. Maybe you go to cash, maybe you move it to another coin, whatever your strategy is. Maybe you're looking for that lower high, and then that would be your higher probability if you're looking to short it, right? So I'm not seeing a short right now because it's got a pending buy, and the weekly chart is currently still bullish. And then we'll see, especially after that MACD bearish crossover, it's very common on the higher time frames for a price to come back in and then possibly go down lower. So we'll see on that one. FTX crypto sales might ruin plans, though. Yeah, I don't know. I stay out of all that. That's where we get into all the noise and stuff. You know, I am aware of what's going on in my surroundings, but especially for this channel, I stay hyper focused on what's literally happening on the charts, and I don't get caught up in all the noise, all the news, anything that's get pushed out after the moves already happened. Um, for swing trading purposes, and investing purposes, I'm purely about the charts with the awareness of what's happening. So 26,620 Bitcoin. It's up 1.5%. I think it got up higher. Yeah. I mean, current wick right now, but give us a good pump into that target at least. That would be great. Give me that 75% return. We'll take it down on the downside. So, like that. We'll take a look at Piton real quick. Peloton. $5.17 Peloton. Okay. Let's start fresh. Let's see, remove drawings, no drawings, remove 9 drawings. Okay. Daily chart, right? Let's start with the weekly chart. Let's kind of zoom out here. Just been getting crushed since that last sell signal. Let's go way back. Let's take a look where it was at one point. It's crazy. So at one point, Peloton was $171, right? And it's currently at the lowest, and it's at 90, rounded up, just call it 98% off the all-time highs, right? And you can see it never reached that low back here. The low was March 2020 at $18. It took out that low. And one thing, I have talked about, I have posted on Twitter a lot. I talked about it a lot in the Discord, about a year and a half ago, throughout 2022. And I did post it a lot on Twitter that several stocks have retraced back to the March 2020 lows. You've been great insight on the market. Keep it up. Just thank you, my man. I appreciate it. Let me know what if you're on Twitter. Hopefully I say your name right. Ala Sabi. Is it Ala Sabi? English is my first language. It's my only language. I would say it's actually my second language. Charts is probably my first language, but my pronunciations of names is terrible. So, people misspell my name all the time. So hopefully that's a good trade-off. So don't take it personally. So I apologize ahead of time. So if you're following me on Twitter, let me know who you are, and so I can follow you. I like to people who support me. I like to build relationships with. So thanks for your support, being here, participating, and so let's keep going down what my train of thought on Peloton. I know we're getting over, and I can feel myself getting tired. It's always at that like 1 hour mark because I try to go all in. I'm really trying to go in for a full hour. But my train of thought was many stocks have retraced to the March 2020 lows, and we've talked about this a lot. Recently, the last stock that we noticed that retraced 100% to the March 2020 lows was Disney, and that's a major stock. There's several major stocks that have retraced to that level. Even crypto assets have retraced the March 2020 lows. Well, Peloton March 2020 low was $18. And there are several stocks that retraced below the March 2020 lows. And now you can add Peloton to that, or you could add that back on the last, back here. Actually, all the way back here, right? So more than a year ago, it retraced back. it's still in a bear market. And it's been since the all-time high, January 2021. It's been in a bear market for it's going to come up on almost 3 years, right? But we'll see what happens because we do have some bullish divergence that was way back here in 2022. And I don't feel that that bullish divergence has been cleared yet. In my personal opinion and based on my experience, it hasn't been cleared yet. And so if RSI finds support here and is higher than say even anywhere above 22 on the weekly RSI, that could be bullish divergence and then still see some sort of a bounce up. But there's no reversal right now. The weekly chart is bearish. It's been bearish, right? Since this pump up to since $18, it's just been bearish ever since on the weekly chart. There was a lower high put in here, and but that was it. It never became bullish. So let's look at the daily chart in Peloton. In case you're like in a short position, right? That was like a sell signal. That was a lower high. So it's a higher probability short position. MACD bear cross, right? And then all the way down. So if you're looking at this on the lower time frame, it's possible this could be a double bottom at $5, but the overall trend is still bearish. Even on daily chart, it's still bearish. So I wouldn't guess that this is a double bottom. It's an awareness that it could be a double bottom, but I would still like if you're waiting for like a higher probability long position, right? I mean, this is how I would draw my chart out. Oh, let me try and draw this out a little bit better. Right? So if you're wanting to be bullish on Peloton, which I wouldn't be bullish on, and you're optimistic that it's going to turn around, that could be a double bottom. It's way too early to say. And then of course there could always be a triple bottom, right? So that's why I'm always waiting for like a higher probability for a reversal. I'm just not seeing it, right? So I'm not seeing it. So there's nothing to really talk about on Peloton yet, but it's on my watch list, and it's one of those high flyers. And one day, with that real long-term bullish divergence, and when price was at $171, maybe one day there will be an amazing opportunity to upside, but I'm not seeing it right now. I think we're going to call it right there. So went over an hour. I want to try to keep these to an hour as much as possible. Thanks again for all of your support. Please keep liking, sharing, commenting. Let's get these streams higher views. It helps me out. In return, hopefully I can continue to help you out. Been getting 1,000 views on Twitter. So if we can keep getting 1,000 views on Twitter and get those views up on YouTube, it would be awesome. And I would be very appreciative of that. And we'll continue to try to do our best to read the charts on what you guys are looking at. And of course, Bitcoin, NASDAQ, stocks, crypto, all that stuff. Good luck to everyone. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp, possibly a little bit early. And shout out, go Vikings. I have a small glimmer of hope, but we always have a glimmer of hope. Last year, we got blown out by the Eagles. We lost a heartbreaker to Tampa. It seems like we just gave the game away at in the second half. So I don't have a lot of hope for the Eagles, but definitely hope we beat the Eagles on the road with only 4 or 5 days in between. It's not a good situation, but maybe we get lucky. So with that, thanks again, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Later.